Hey folks, this is Matt Rainwater here today, and we're gonna we're gonna fix some panels. I'm about to send in an episode of Trailer Park Warlock. This is episode 42, and I have to do a couple little editations. And after I'm done with that, I'll send it into my editor. Actually, I'll send it into the submissions person. I guess another editor of sorts. It's been a lot going on for me. Where do I even begin? Been mostly just working during the holidays, although I did take Christmas Day off and spend time with my mom and my sister. Um, we ended up just watching a bunch of movies on Christmas Day. And started it off watching Isle of Dogs by Wes Anderson. I had not had the opportunity to watch it, and just saw it. Just saw it on my sister's Amazon Fire Stick. I guess it was. I don't remember what app it was playing on, but I was just like, "Yep, gonna watch that." So I watched it. It was really good. Um, Gotta say, like, one of my favorite things about that movie was just the art direction. There's just so many cool, uh, like unique visual intricacies. I don't know. There's just so much visually intricate stuff going on in that movie, and really just beautiful set pieces. Really love the puppets. I guess I don't know what else to call them because it's a stop motion animation film. Um, for those of y'all who haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Basic premise is 20 years in the future, Japan has a problem with dogs who have contracted this incredibly contagious uh, virus. And, all the dogs are sick, and basically the it's in a specific city in Japan, I guess. This city called Megasaki City. And the mayor of Megasaki City unleashes this plan to just take all the dogs and put them on this trash island where they're essentially like quarantined, but treated really terribly because they're not, they're basically eating trash. They're not being taken care of. And there's a scientist who is like trying to find a cure and all this other stuff. But mainly the story is about this young boy who's looking for his lost dog, and a pack of dogs who more or less adopt him into the fold and help him find his lost dog. And from there on, I recommend you see the movie because it's good. Like, I'm not like I watch a lot of Wes Anderson movies. I'm not like the biggest Wes Anderson fan, but I do like to watch his movies. He has an unusual style of making something that is both engaging and kind of boring at the same time. And I have to say, like, his stop motion pieces, that and let's see, Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox, both of them seem to break out of that to a certain extent and not like, I don't know, not dote too much on the boring level and get more into like some really interesting emotional uh, places. Just I think stuff that he probably was attempting to do in live action just never really quite. I don't know. Not. I say that a lot of his movies that are emotionally impactful and have really heartfelt themes and etc. But for some reason, I just really like a lot of his stop motion stuff. So we watched Isle of Dogs. Highly recommend it. And then I think my mom wasn't that interested in watching Isle of Dogs because it wasn't really a Christmas movie. I personally don't care when it comes to Christmas movies. I'm like, I'll just watch whatever. In fact, so long as it's like kind of heartfelt and sincere, it doesn't really matter to me if it's about Christmas or not. But we ended up watching this movie called Christmas with the Kranks, and gotta say, not my flavor of movie. Thought it was. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. I'm just looking at this. It just doesn't look good. I'm gonna have to. My editor wants me to extend this hair out beyond the gutters of this panel. Not my favorite thing to do, like in post, so to speak, but I'll do it. So anyway, Christmas with the Kranks. Probably one of the worst movies I've ever watched. And not even just because I'm already not a fan of like super sentimental Christmas movies in the sense of like they're all about Christmas and how special Christmas is and blah blah blah. This movie was like, part of it is that the humor is just sociopathic. It's just like all the humor was cringe level. Like none of it connected because the two main characters are just such terrible people that it becomes highly unbelievable when they suddenly have a change of heart about their plans to skip Christmas, as though that were even that big of a deal. Like the main premise is like they're gonna skip Christmas so they can save money to buy a cruise. And I'm like, okay, where's the problem? This isn't like an issue in any part of the world except within the fantasy realm of this story. Well, anyway, I guess the humor is supposed to be. It does not land this way, but it's supposed to be that all their neighbors are like, "What? You're skipping Christmas?" and then become a total pain in their butts about it. It's just weird. It's a weird movie. Don't even really have anything against Tim Allen or Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie, and it's like not a role that suits her very well. Like it was weird, y'all. Anyway, so that happened, and we pretty much all unanimously agree that it was a terrible movie. And after that, moved on to It's a Wonderful Life, because I never watched all of that movie in its totality. I've only ever watched the tail end of it. I discovered. So I watched all of it, and I was a little bit surprised by how much I enjoyed the movie. Like like the Christmas stuff. People call it a Christmas movie, but it's just because the end of it takes place during Christmas. But really, like, it's just a slice of life movie. Honestly, it's a really good one. Like, it's a really well paced. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty well paced movie. It's long, but like, there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that happens. By the end of the movie, you feel really invested in George Bailey's life, and yeah, I'd say the end of the movie is not super well paced, I guess, because the end of the movie is like, it's like the last 30 minutes, which I didn't realize. Like I thought like the whole movie was basically like George Bailey living his life without him ever being born, and him being like, oh my god, I'm so important, blah blah blah. Like I thought that was most of the movie, but actually it's not. Like most of the movie is just like the angel Clarence reviewing crap. 1 second, y'all. reviewing George Bailey's life. So let me restate that. The majority of the movie, like 1.5 hours of the movie, because it's about a 2-hour movie. I don't think it's longer than 2 hours. Is entirely a review of George Bailey's life, from childhood, saving his brother, from a terrible incident on a frozen river or lake or whatever it was, to like his job in a pharmacy, to becoming the main executor of a building and loan establishment that was owned by his father, in taking on the big rich corrupt guy in the town, which is kind of every Jimmy Stewart movie, like, which is interesting to me because I'm kind of going on a tangent, so excuse me. Which is kind of every Jimmy Stewart movie, is like Jimmy Stewart becomes the everyman speaking up for the little guy. And that certainly happens in It's a Wonderful Life. Anyway, I'm not saying anything negative, but I actually kind of enjoyed that. It was sort of refreshing in the sense that it's very earnest and sincere, which you don't see a lot in a lot of movies today. But part of it too is like Jimmy Stewart as an actor is just plays very charismatic characters. He's just a very charismatic person. So I think that's also, for me, what makes the movie kind of enthralling and enjoyable. And like, there's only one really awkward moment in the movie, and it's the romance plot between him and his future wife. And it's not awkward until the very point at which, like, they finally kiss and, get married. Like, right before they get married, there's just this really awkward scene where they're like, I don't know, it's like the way older movies like to do romance between two characters, where it just looks like they're about to kill themselves or something. It's really bizarre compared to, I guess, the way romance is portrayed nowadays in movies. But so anyway, I don't know if y'all need an entire review on It's a Wonderful Life, but it's a movie worth watching. I think it's a movie worth rewatching, in my opinion. And really, the only part that I wasn't that into was the last 30 minutes of the movie. Like, Clarence isn't that important of a character, really. Like, the movie could have been entirely, you could have entirely done the movie as just this story about George Bailey who deals with the nasty rich man in the town, and that would have been a fine movie. I mean, it's almost it's almost the same plot of The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance to a certain extent, but I thought it was good. Yeah, it was a good movie. And then after that, watched Christmas Story. I've seen that movie so many times, and it's sort of one of those things where it's like, oh, it's Christmas, better watch Christmas Story. There's still parts of it that are really funny, but I'm kind of getting to this point where I'm like, I know the movie so well that I'm sort of burnt out on it, and I'm just sort of doing it as tradition. It's just tradition at this point, and it's not really much of anything else for me. And then I watched the remainder of, like, I think it's a Trailer Park Boys movie, but it's like the Christmas movie that my sister had started watching. So like, start it from the midpoint and finish that. And I'd seen it before, but it's still pretty funny. It's a good Good funny movie. Probably no surprise to anybody that I've watched Trailer Park Boys or like Trailer Park Boys. I don't know. I don't know what would give that indication. Anyway. So that was Christmas Day. Also, got kind of sick on Christmas Day. Just felt really achy and fatigued. Felt better the next day, but that day I just... the night before, I went out with my mom and my sister to go see some Christmas lights around town. I just felt terrible. So, when I got home, I had some orange juice. Not orange juiced. Got some orange juiced. And watched another movie, Raising Arizona. Always a good movie. The movie is still pretty amazing. Probably one of Nicolas Cage's best roles. It really suits him well. And just a great cast in that movie. Anyway, so did that. We kind of time traveled a little bit, went back a day. But, so yeah, that was Christmas Eve, watching Raising Arizona. It worked most of the day that day, too. So taking a break Christmas Day felt good. And now, today, back to it. I'm setting a goal for myself. I don't know how realistic this goal is, but I'm setting it. And the goal is, I want to make 5 episodes of Trailer Park Warlock within the month of January. I did some math on this. It should be pretty doable if I can knock out 1 episode of Trailer Park Warlock a week. No, not a week. Every 5 days. It's a lot of work, but I think if I do an 8-hour day every day, including weekends, I can do it. And the reason I want to do this is I need to make up for some lost time. I'm running a little bit behind on my buffer, and I want to amend that because I still have anywhere between 15 to 20 episodes left of this season. So it's a lot. I got a lot left to do. That's probably going at that kind of pace. It's probably 4 more months of work. So what I'm thinking, if I can at least commit myself to doing an episode every 5 days, then in 1 month I can increase my buffer by 2, give me some wiggle room, and sort of not really coast. It would not be coasting because I'd still be doing a lot, but I can at least afford myself 4 to 6 days of just break time for the other months after that. So anyway, that's the plan. We'll see, right? But I think I can do it. I don't see why I can't do it. Just means I really have to put my nose to... What's the expression? Nose to the grindstone? Doesn't seem like a good expression. Anyway. Just really have to get at it. Crack open a can or 2 of midnight oil, or wake up at a decent time. My body apparently is trying to do that already, because I woke up at 6:40 today, and I was like, I'm not ready to, what is going on? I'm not ready to get up. But my body thought differently, because I couldn't get back to sleep. I ended up laying in bed until 8. I was like, alright, fine. This is ridiculous. And I'm just going to lay here. I got things to do. I might as well do them. So here I am. So what are my plans for the coming new year? That's a great question. That's a really great question because I don't have all the answers to that. Well, I can definitely tell you. First goal, like I told you already, accomplish making 5 to 6 episodes in a month. Might even try and do that for 2 months just to really seal in having a good buffer. And then from there, I just really want to have a good surplus. That's what it is. And from there, I'd really like to get started on the minor arcana for the Trailer Park Warlock Tarot. But I have so many other things I also need to do in relation to promoting Trailer Park Warlock, and also like, excuse me, 1 second. Like I want to go to some conventions next year. I haven't been to a convention in a long time, and I feel like it's time to do something about that, right? Would y'all like to see me at a convention? Would y'all like to meet me in person? I think we could possibly make it happen. Leave a note if there are any conventions that you like to attend. I'd love to know. Leave a comment, as always. And then also for the next year, yeah, I don't know. For next year, my main commitments are just getting myself to actually doing a full 8-hour work week. Or I say full 40-hour work week, and doing like something closer to a 9 to 5 for Trailer Park Warlock, so that my schedule can be a little bit, I don't know, like make more sense basically. Just get more work done, because I do work better during the day than at night, I'm discovering, for better or worse. And just all my energy is sort of arranged towards daytime. And I just had to kind of come to terms with that, because I've been doing some things where I'd be like, oh, I'll work from 10 to 2, but I never had enough energy at night. In the daytime, it's there, you know, it's not fading, it's not going anywhere. So that's what I'm coming to terms with. Anything else for the next year? That's all I got for right now. Gonna make some, exercise commitments. Doing lots of yoga. That's easy. Those are easy commitments to make. Saving up money to buy a house. That's the other commitment that I want to make. And maybe getting a car? That might be helpful for me. Anyway, I think that's it for the new year. I don't know if I should feel excited or not about a new decade. I don't know what to tell y'all. It's going to take it a day at a time. Alright, next. So let's just, so it looks like so far, gotta make all this, gotta make all these all this reflective lighting make sense. Okay. I think this for me is kind of the part I look forward to least, just because it's all rasterized and Does it need to be rasterized? I don't know. I mean, it was rasterized because that was how I did it. And now I'm kind of paying on the back end because I have to change some things. It's not that hard. Just certain things kind of annoy me in terms of oh, okay. So that color doesn't. I'll have to go in. See, that's what I'm talking about. Because what I did was that I made these, I had applied a soft eraser to these lines to make them more dynamic. And I wasn't expecting that I would have to change anything, and now I have to change something, and so there you have it. Like I said, my main annoyance is just, my main annoyance with doing fixes and editations is that it's an inconvenience for time, because today I will be doing script writing. And I want to do that sooner than later. I'm also hungry, I realize. I've been doing intermittent fasting. It's going okay. It's a little harder if I wake up earlier in the morning. So that's kind of my situation now. I woke up early. I worked out. Nothing too strenuous, just like a 20-minute power yoga routine. And it feels good afterwards. Like I feel super energized. But then also now my body is like, I'm hungry, Matt. Let's do something. Let's get something to eat. And I'm like, I can't right now. Sorry, bud. Sorry. I feel so sorry. That's gonna be okay. We'll make it. All right. Now, need to see where the colors don't match up right there. And kind of right there. So, how am I going to do this? Merge those two layers together. All right. I'm going to just, ugh. All right. Get the soft brush. There you are. Make it smaller. And softly apply like so. Nobody will be any the wiser except for y'all, because y'all are here watching me do it. But that's okay. All right. I think that'll work. Does it work? I think it works. What do y'all think? Leave a comment. Let me know if it doesn't work. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, y'all. And I hope you're having a good week. And I'm wishing y'all all a happy new year. And I will see y'all again next week. All right? Bye.